men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
Well, sometimes you get surprised, and today was one of the surprise days where out of nowhere, Dusty May is leaving Michigan, and he's going to go to the Dallas Mavericks. He is the first coach to leave a national championship team to go to the NBA since Larry Brown did it in 1988, but Larry Brown was always on the move somewhere anyway. But yeah, look, let's start with this bottom line. There really is a bottom line today as to what is a better job, a pro coaching job or a college coaching job.
I was just thinking the same thing.
College coaching jobs were considered to be long-term, if you had success, long-term, you're really in charge, and there was for the lack of a better term, a pretty good power base to it. How about that? Mm-hmm. But now, with the transfer portal especially, and I don't mean NIL, I'm talking about the portal, where you're constantly having to re-recruit your own guys. Because, contracts don't seem to mean anything. I've got a 2-year deal. I've got a buyout. Now I leave. Darian Mensah. I've got a 2-year buyout and I leave. Brendan Sorsby. I got to, there are people that, don't seem to be honoring the contracts that they sign. And I don't know what the language of the contracts happens to be. But then the portal all over the place. Yes, Dusty May was in a position where he and his staff did a great job of utilizing the portal. He took over an 8-23 Michigan team. He gets the portal going, including bringing Vlad Golden in from Florida Atlantic with him. And he brought in Wolf from Yale, and they made the NCAA tournament in year one. Well, last year he hits the jackpot. He gets Yaxel Lindenborg to leave UAB. He gets Elliot Cadeau to leave North Carolina. He gets Moritz Johnson to leave Illinois, where he was in a good spot in Illinois. And he got Uday Mara to leave UCLA to come to Michigan. And they win the national title. But this is something where every time you turn around, you have to keep... you have to work hard to keep your guys. They were able to keep Elliot Cadeau. They were able to keep Trey McKinney. Right? They got J.P. Estrella to transfer in from Tennessee, among others. But now he leaves. But what's the better job in terms of stability? Where you're not really in charge of personnel, you just have to coach. And I'll never forget the number of times in his career where Joe Paterno would pull me aside. When I mean pull me aside, we'd be in a practice field or would be at an event, something, because we'd be sitting together. And he'd just say to me, Steve, I just wish I could coach. You know what I mean? And I know how he feels. And I say this with all due respect to people who watch this and so forth, but if I had a choice, I'd rather just do games.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think everybody knows me, knows that. And in the NBA, he's going to get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he's going to get, guess what? Just coach.
Just coach basketball.
Somebody else is in charge of personnel.
Yes. Yep.
And that's the same thing in the NFL. You leave a college job and you go to the NFL, guess what you get to do? You just get to coach ball. And that's the difficulty of coaching college today, because there is no structure right now in college. There's no structure. It is, when we say it's the Wild West, it is the Wild West.
Yeah.
no getting around it. And sometimes you look around and say, do I want to keep doing this? Or, like, for example, you win the national title. You go back to your hotel. Can you enjoy it? No. Why? Because guess what? He got up the next morning and was on the phone trying to reshape his roster for next year. Well, I'll tell you right now, Mike Brown's not doing that.
No.
Mike Brown won the NBA title. And guess what? He's having a good time. And it's up to somebody else, with his advice, to figure out what they want to do in free agency and who they want to keep and who they can keep again. But that's somebody else's worry. You can actually, in the NBA, enjoy it for a few days. Instead of going back to your hotel and say, okay, we got to get going here because the portal opens tomorrow morning. The portal opens the next day after you win the title. Now, Michigan has to figure out what to do about the head coaching job. But they also have to worry about the roster because guess what? The next 15 days, the portal is open for them. Anybody can contact Elliot Cadeau. Anybody can contact J.P. Estrella. Anybody can contact Trey McKinney. And Kason. Kason's a good player too. LJ Kason. But this is that's college. When you can't enjoy victory and you have to already worry about the next year hours after you win it, there is something dreadfully wrong with that system.
Yeah.
And
No doubt.
for whatever reason, and I know what the reason is, it's always legal. Everybody runs to the Judge of the Month club.
Yep.
Let's go to the Judge of the Month. There we go. Great. Thanks. We got what we needed. Right? Oh, you can't say that about Judge. Oh, yes, I can. Sorry. So far, the track record is not impressive. It's kind of like they get anything they want. I mean, we actually had a guy bet on his own team, be told by a judge, hey, you're good.
Yeah.
Like, really? Really? Hey, I know you're retired, but you're like you're not up for re-election, pal.
Yeah. Yeah, you hit it right, absolutely spot on the head. With the biggest part of him going to the NBA is he can be a pure coach now and coach basketball. I think that is one of the biggest things that you look at now. And you have legendary coaches that contemplate what is the better job, coaching in college and being a mentor, or coaching in the NBA, saying the NBA is probably the better job right now because of everything that is on you as a college basketball coach, as a college coach, period. As a college basketball coach, though, you look at what you have to do. You talk about the portal. That is, without question, the biggest part. The NBA, you've got 80 to 90% of you guys under contract. You don't have to worry as much about roster retention.
Yep.
Do you have to worry a little bit? Sure, but it's not your job to worry. You have a general manager. You have ownership. You have other people that you work with, and they ultimately make the decisions that you trust them to make. But when it comes to college, everything right now is, you said it, the Wild West completely. There's no structure. There's no stability.
No.
There's a complete portal, which is the biggest issue without a shadow of a doubt. But you also look at, you bring the NIL factor in. Other people handle sponsorships too in the NBA. It's not your job. You don't have to worry about that. Every worry that is in college basketball now, or college sports as a whole, is gone when you coach professionally because you have other people that can do that job. It is probably at this point, and I'm not speaking for every coach, they know the job better than I do without question, but it's probably
That's
less...
not what you say in the hallway.
That's right. It's probably less stressful to be a pro coach now than it is a college coach, because of everything that is on your plate now. As a college coach, doing everything you can to stabilize your roster, doing everything you can going year to year, whereas in the NBA, you can evaluate and you have retention.
Well, that's why I was surprised Mike Malone. I know he was out of a job, but I was, in terms of coaching, I mean, he was working. But I was surprised he took the North Carolina job.
Same.
That surprised me.
Same here.
That he did that. just like with Bill Belichick taking the North Carolina job, which now they got an education in year one.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Mike Lombardi
Yeah.
got an absolute education in year one as to it's a little different in college than in the pros.
Absolutely.
Not just in terms of like retention and things like that and how to build a roster, but also at the same time what kind of player plays in college as opposed to the pros. But that aside, ask yourself why Mike Krzyzewski no longer coaches. Ask yourself why Roy Williams got out when he did. Ask yourself why Jay Wright, younger than the other two, got out when he did. Right?
Yeah.
Why is Bruce Pearl not coaching anymore? Because it gets to a point because of the lack of structure in college sports. They make, and I don't want to hear, they make lots of money. Please, I'm sorry, but you can make lots of money.
No.
And guess what?
Yeah.
And the job isn't right.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? It's like, they make a lot of money.
No,
stop it. I mean, you got to stop. You got to.
So do doctors. That doesn't mean they're not under scrutiny.
Right. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, they make a lot of money. Okay, so they make more money than you do, okay? But, and I'd trade places with them. I bet you wouldn't.
I bet you wouldn't. I bet you
wouldn't.
I absolutely bet you wouldn't.
Okay? It's easy for you to sit in the cheap seats and make that kind of comment about it. And do they make money? Yeah. No question. Dusty May was making a lot of money at Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay? He was.
Sure.
I don't know. I think Dusty was like 4.5, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay? He was like the last I checked, when I talked to Brian, I guess he was like this close to your tax bracket. It was like really.
It was that dangerously close.
I think it's a good word.
But it's now a college basketball season where we saw the Syracuse job come open. We saw the Georgia Tech job come open. We saw UNC come open. We saw Michigan come open.
Now you're making another really good point. Because let's take Michigan out of it because he left on his own.
Yeah.
Right? But we are now in open season on college coaches where it used to be that, hey, let's give the guy 5 years, maybe 6, to see what his program looks like.
Yeah. No,
the number of times that I used those words on these shows over the years, I mean, I have a countless number of times that I saw, that I talked about, hey, look, you've got to give a coach anywhere from 5, maybe even 6 years, so you can see what the program actually looks like when it's all of his people. Now you're getting 2 years.
Yeah, 2 at most. Yeah.
2 years.
You are. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just
Jim Boeheim. Jim Boeheim gets out, right? He gets out.
There's another one. Yep.
Right? Because what does he want to deal with this for? All right.
Yeah.
But they give Autry, 2 years?
Yeah.
Hubert Davis made the Final Four. Hubert Davis is coaching North Carolina. It's not good enough. He's out. Okay, that's why we reference Michael Malone. Michael Malone got the job because Hubert Davis got fired. Now he was there longer than 2 years. But this is what you're finding now, that you get a couple of years and people are going, I don't know, I don't see it. I don't know. We got to get a new guy. We got to change over. Oh, okay.
And part of that is because not only the fact, obviously, with the money involved completely, which has gotten exponentially larger between individual and team. Yeah. And it's gotten to that point where patience is lost, no doubt. But it's also reached the point where you're seeing a guy like Dusty May early in his coaching be able to hit the portal as well as he did. The expectation now is every big school can do that, but they can't.
Yeah.
And that's the other part of this now at this point that wasn't in college sports a decade ago that is now here And I think you're absolutely right. That's the biggest thing right now. People always talk about NIL and how unstable it is. It certainly is. There's no doubt. But the other part of it is the portal. That's the biggest part.
I think that's
without
the biggest
a doubt right now. No question.
I mean, people do focus on the money part of it.
Yeah, sure.
I understand that. And
that
for example,
ties to the portal.
And in fact, in basketball, okay, for Penn State, that's been, I think, the biggest issue.
Sure.
Has been the money part of it.
Absolutely.
Where Michigan, for example, had 3 times, and I'm not exaggerating here,
No,
Michigan had 3 times the NIL support that Penn State had. Now, I would like to point out that the internal number, this is a big difference. The internal number at Michigan that you're allowed to give out was the same as Penn State. So they both gave out $3 million, right?
Yeah.
It's the external number where it was a 9-to-1 ratio of external money that came from Michigan salaries as opposed to Penn State. It's the external number, not the internal number. I know a lot of people want to point out, well, Penn State's got to do more on spending and da-da-da-da-da. No. There's $3 million in there for basketball. Okay? And there's $3 million in Michigan's for basketball. It's the external that has to be funneled over. And Michigan has the resources, right? And the commitment to do it. And Dusty May, to his credit, took advantage of it. Look, the guy took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four. Right? And a lot of those Florida Atlantic players, once they had the opportunity to leave, ended up being starters at other places in college basketball. Look, I saw him, ran into him, everything. They're good players, which means he understands how to evaluate talent. But when you look at him with the Mavericks, yeah, he'll evaluate talent. He'll be around it, but somebody else is going to make the decisions.
Somebody else, absolutely.
Somebody else is going to negotiate the contracts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it. You can give, obviously, as a coach, you're going to give suggestions. You're going to give preferences. There's no doubt about that. But that's the biggest part. The money, the financial part of it, everything else that is the burden in college sports right now is somebody else's job at the professional level.
So we'll see how the bill turns out in the Senate and then the House. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. Not everybody's going to be happy with it. But we'll see how it turns out. But as we've said over and over again, college sports is aching for structure of some form or another.
Stability. Yep, that's true.
Right?
Yep.
Stability, structure, whatever word you want to use. They're aching for it.
Yeah.
Right? They're the 3 entities, okay? Management is without question craving structure, but they used to have all the power.
Absolutely.
Okay? They used to have all the power.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, now the pendulum is shifted where the players have the vast majority of power.
No doubt about it.
I mean, sure, can I hold you out? Can I knock down your minutes? Oh, yeah, I can do all that. Right? And who's to say you don't leave in the middle of the year?
Exactly. Which players have done. Yeah.
I mean, players have left in the middle of the year.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, I'm gone. Right?
Yeah.
College football, the rule's 4 games. I played my 4 games. I'm done. Really?
Yeah.
You are? Right. Kind of difficult for me to grasp people quitting, considering I've never quit anything in my life. But
same.
Quit. Well, we wanted you to.
I know. I'll tell you, it was rigorous, but I held up. Pulled through anyway.
What? No, I mean the vote was 9-1.
That's right, that one, the biggest one.
Right.
Had to be unanimous in that one vote, even though I fixed it that it was my vote. That's okay. That one vote kept me on.
That doggone proxy came through. but and then the last group that really needs it, and I hear about TV ratings and so forth.
Sure.
TV ratings are a little different now, as to, they're including the sports TV ratings now include a different rating system that they use, structured to it, bars, right? If it's on in the bar, it counts. It's on, in the background. They're like, oh yeah, nobody's watching it. But
you're not just going by households anymore. Yeah.
So you're not doing households anymore. And they'll say, see, it's working. No, it's not working. Okay. All you have to do, anybody who says it's working is sitting in an office reading data.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? No. Okay?
Yep.
You know what's really effective in life? Management while walking around. Management by walking around.
Sure.
We don't have a homeless problem. I was just there. I saw you. I saw under the bridge. I was there.
Yep.
Right? It's management by walking around. I don't need data. Okay?
Right.
Okay? I've got fans talking to me all the time.
Yeah.
Like they love Penn State. They love Matt Campbell. Right? I mean, and on and on and on about what they love. But to a person, they tell me the portal makes them very uncomfortable. Right? The money in sports, and again, and I've told them, I said, look, if I got 110,000 people showing up to see something, shouldn't the people you're showing up to see get something from it?
Sure.
I mean, that's only common sense, right? I got 74,000 people showing up to see a hockey game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, shouldn't the performers get something out there? Well, they're getting an education, and I agree with that. That's a big part of it. Their tuition's being taken care of and so forth, but they deserve to have something beyond that as well, especially for all the time they're expected to put in. Because in that scholarship, you're expected to put in time in your academics, and you're also expected to put time in your sport. So I don't have an issue with that if it's done right. And again, it's more than just a play for pay. It's more than that. NIL is, hi, I'm Jason Lord for Pick Car Dealership.
Sure.
Okay? And you can go from there. And that's fine. But it's the portal part that makes everybody, because fans get attached to players.
Absolutely.
And so now, in this particular year, you're telling me it didn't want to look at you anymore?
Apparently not. It gave up.
I mean, all the cameras were on you.
Gave up on me. I think it's given up altogether.
It may have. It may have given up altogether. But this is the issue that we have today. And we've talked about it over and over again, that what an issue it happens to be. And I think the portal is a bigger issue because, you feel like you rent people. They come in for a year, and then they can leave after a year.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it.
And I'm not saying, and I am not saying in any way, shape, or form that, that because it used to be, scholarships were year by year anyway. A lot of people didn't realize that and had to be renewed every year. Again, remember, management had all the power. Scholarships used to be renewed on a year-by-year basis. Now, a guy may have been there 5 years, but it had to be renewed how many times to get there?
Absolutely.
Right. Well, now it's like this. And they're like, I ain't starting. I'm departing.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt.
So if you're wondering why Dusty May takes this job, right now there are 30 NBA jobs. Okay. And he'll get a lot of money to do it. And, when you look at college coaches, they've had mixed success in the NBA. They've had mixed success. Some, like in Los Angeles, have had no experience. But, got a lot of opinions, but no experience.
No experience.
No.
Nope.
He does now. He's got 2 years worth of it. But
he's also got a big free agent. May or may not be back there.
Yeah, we're gonna go through the annual drama of that. You know, after a while, how when somebody, it's over and over and over again, you just stop caring.
Sure. Absolutely.
He's a free agent. Now I'm at the point like LeBron's a free agent. Like, yeah, so what?
Yeah. Literally. Yeah.
Right.
And that's,
you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
happened so many times. You're like, all right, he's a free agent
happens.
again. So what?
Yep.
All right, whatever happens, happens.
Sure.
Wherever he shows up. Good for him. But it used to be like, okay, what's he going to do? Like the decision going to Miami. Okay, going back to Cleveland, that was a big deal. Signing with the Lakers. Now it's like, here we go. Here we go again. Yeah, here we go again. But this is where we are.
Sure.
In college sports. And I think it takes a lot to be. I mean, I know they get paid a lot of money, but boy, it takes a lot to be a college coach these days.
Absolutely. Yeah, just significant amount. You talked about the stability, you talked about the structure, and that's the other part of it is nobody wants to assume, and meaning at a high level, not coaches, but executives, you don't want to assume that leadership role of being in charge of that. You pass the buck to somebody else, he passes it to somebody else, they pass it to somebody else, and that in turn leads to what we have right now. It's just not having anything.
And then you throw yourself in there for a year developing a player.
Yep.
Okay. Doing everything you can to make them better. And after a year, they go someplace else. That's why, I'll tell you, the lower level, mid-major, low major, they are in a quandary.
Sure.
Because they need to play you.
Absolutely.
To get money. They need the guarantees. Because the athletic department desperately needs the guarantees. I know you're shocked. Nobody else makes money. All right, so, okay, that can't be. Yes, it is. Over and over again. Okay? So that's why I'll never forget Fang Mitchell. Fang Mitchell was the head coach at Penn State. And one year they came in and they went to Pittsburgh. They beat South Carolina? South Carolina was a 2 seed and Penn State was a 15. Well, Fang Mitchell was also the athletic director. And I remember being out in Berkeley for a tournament, and Penn State was going to play Penn State in the tournament. So we're out there talking to Fang, and he says, I think Dick said to him something like, "You've played 14 consecutive games away from home to start the season?" Right? And he's the AD. He says, "Yeah." And he was funny about it. He says, Fang Mitchell, the athletic director, walked over the mirror and looked at Fang Mitchell, the basketball coach. He said, and the basketball coach kept looking at me saying, "We got to play some home games." And the athletic director kept looking at the guy in the mirror and kept saying, "Yeah, and I got to fund the tennis program." That's exactly what he said to us. Right? So the decision was they played 14 in a row to start the season in a row. But what happens is they play those games, and you get to see their talent.
Sure.
And you're saying, "Geez, I'll tell you right now, Bobby looks like he could. I think he could play for us. He could help us. He may not start, but he could help us." And this is the danger that they face all the time when they play these games. So suddenly you're giving everybody a free evaluation, eyeball to eyeball, of talent. So each level brings with it challenges. The big level swoops in and can take your talent, but they also have a revolving door. I mean, look, Michigan, this is the revolving door you have. Michigan's top 8 players. 6 were transfers, 2 were homegrown. The 2 homegrown, Trey McKinney, the true freshman this past year, about to be a sophomore, and the senior Will Cheddar. So they're your top 8 guys. 6 were transfers. Now, some of the transfers stayed. Burnett was there a couple of years, I think 3 years. Roddy Gale was there a couple of years. Right? Everybody else was there a year.
Sure.
Johnson, Made, Lendenborg, Cadeau were all there a year. That's the way. I mean, that's the way it is.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the way.
That's exactly, and it's why great coaches are getting out of it. It's why great coaches are not supporting it, and it's the way it's going to be, I think, for the time being. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Until they get this straightened out.
Yeah.
Again, this bill, by the way, that's going to go to the floor of the Senate, does have a provision in it that you're allowed one free transfer, but the second time you transfer, you have to sit out a year.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay? That is in there.
Yep.
I think people can live with that because, look, I mean, have there been transfers that have come? Look, in basketball, for example, John Amaechi was a transfer. He ended up playing 3 years here. Glenn Secunda was a transfer. He ended up playing 3 years here. And there were guys that in the old system transferred into Penn State and made a difference.
Sure.
And helped. I mean, without question. So, I mean, guys have done that. Okay. So, but they all also had to sit out a year. Glenn came here, had to sit out a year. John came in here, he had to sit out a year. In fact, Matt Maloney came with him. And Maloney was here for a week, and then he ended up going down to, Penn or something like that. Yeah.
Ended up starting in the NBA for a short time there.
Yeah. Oh, no. They really wanted him badly here.
Yeah.
I mean, badly. And when he left after a week, it was like, that hurt.
Yeah.
But those guys were
smart
transfers.
player.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But they all had to sit out a year before they could play.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, now it's like,
Yeah.
we all know what it's like now.
Yeah, and again, more reason why the NBA is a better option. These guys are under contracts.
Yeah.
There's more likely than not they're going to show up to work.
And again, I don't know what the verbiage is in these contracts. I'm sure these contracts are pretty close to what a pro contract looks like.
Probably at this point, yes, but the other problem is it's not all everything money wise that you are receiving is not all negotiated by the school or the coach. Yeah, that's the other part of it, and that's the uncertainty that just surrounds everything.
Well,
with all of this,
here's the issue. Okay, I put a contract together for Darian Mensah.
Mm-hmm.
Mensah transfers into Duke. He's playing
Right.
for Manny. He has a good year. They get they don't have a great non-con, but I mean, but they get to the ACC championship game and win it. Okay.
Yeah.
He tells everybody he's coming back.
Yep.
And he has a 2-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he goes to the Judge of the Month club.
Absolutely. Does everything he can to figure out to get out of it.
And gets the guy he needs.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
They negotiate the settlement. He gets out of it. I'm like going, there's something wrong with that.
Absolutely.
There's something wrong with that.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Right, when something like that happens. I mean, Sorsby's got this alleged $1 million buyout from Cincinnati that they're in court over that right now. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. But, I mean, I'm old-fashioned. I grew up in an era where you honored your contracts.
Absolutely.
I've had handshake deals in my lifetime, and I've had written contracts in my lifetime.
Yes.
Right? And I have never backed out of the handshake deal, and I've never backed out of the written contract.
Yeah.
Were there maybe 2 contracts, like a year into it, where I regretted? Like, not I mean regretted. Like, where I thought I could have done better. How about that?
Yeah.
There have been 2 of them where I thought, and I could have done better. But I said, well, you know what? And I always came back to the same thing. Well, I signed it in good faith, so don't go back